Hello, everyone, and welcome to February edition of the IQ Hub Masterclass. We are back for another episode, another round of insights, and this time from the Nordics, from Aftonbladet. So we've got Elin, who is joining us today, and we met in Paris last year at the Wonifra AI conference. And I've always been incredibly impressed by the Aftonbladet's approach to AI and the wide range of projects that they've been working on. So I couldn't wait to invite one of their team along. So without further ado, I will pass it on to you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Madeleine, and thank you for inviting me. Looking forward to this. Yeah,
Pleasure.
maybe I should get right through it.
Yeah, please do.
All right. So yeah, my name is Elin Wieslander. I'm from Swedish newspaper Aftonbladet. And we are, Aftonbladet is the largest newspaper in the Nordic region, with around 4 million daily users, including both print, online, TV, and pods. And we focused mostly on breaking news, but we also have a huge sports section called Sportbladet. We do several podcasts, we do TV shows, we are frequently using TikTok and so on. But our primary focus is definitely breaking news. And one thing that I'm very proud of with working at Aftonbladet is that whenever there is a major breaking news event, the Swedish people come to us and they rely on us. And we have always kind of being early adopters, and we want to see that as part of our DNA. For example, we launched our website on the internet in 1994, which is very early for being a newspaper, and we launched our subscription method in 2004. And with that said, we always strive to be first and be brave, and that is both when it comes to journalism, but also when it comes to new technology. And with that said, we at Aftonbladet are not really afraid to experiment. So when ChatGPT was launched in 2022, we started to try different things quite immediately. For example, we analyzed hundreds of hours of video, of YouTube videos connected to the right-wing party Swedish Democrats, and using ChatGPT. And we also, when Sweden had its 500th birthday, we revived our medieval king Gustav Vasa and let our audience chat with him through ChatGPT. And maybe we all even tried to launch our news and present our news through rap songs. Maybe not an experiment that was that successful, maybe, but one of the most successful early experiments we did was the 3-bullet AI summaries that you can see on the left side of the screen. We integrated this to our CMS early on, and it includes 3 bullets and is a short AI-generated summary of the articles. And we could see that this was a huge success. We could see that not only that there were that many people actually were able to or tended to read through the articles even more. when we had AI summaries. We also saw that our younger audience increased. So nowadays, every reporter has to do an AI generated summary whenever we do an article longer than, I think, 2,500 characters or so.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
No, I think that's really interesting and really valuable how you've learnt this lesson, tested it out on a few articles, and now it's kind of obligatory. And I'm wondering how you've ensured that journalists are on board with using AI tools in their role. And maybe you'll go into this a bit later,
Yeah,
but would
yeah,
love to hear about buy-in.
yes. I mean, we yeah, that's a very good question. And we Aftonbladet's board kind of saw that there was a big success with these AI generated summaries and saw many possibilities. But as you said, you need to get like everyone on board. So we started the AI Hub in October 2023. And the AI Hub was a cross-functional team of 7 full-time positions. And our focus was to experiment and test and implement pilot projects, but also to save time for the editorial team to test new things and be like, yeah, test pilots. So we could go to the editorial section and say that, hey, we have this new tool, you should definitely use it. And we kind of serves as AI ambassadors as well in the different departments. And so with that said, we are 7 journalists, no, 5 journalists, and 3 from the developing side. Sorry. And one important thing with the AI Hub is that we are all kind of we have all been working at Aftonbladet for quite some time. We are kind of well known internally, so and have kind of the not the mandate, but a confidence among our colleagues. They know that they can trust us and that we are not like corporate managers trying to save money or something. And yes, we were everyone here is from different departments, as you can see, and we thought that was important as well to kind of show and make sure that all different parts of Aftonbladet or the journalism in Aftonbladet would be represented in some way.
Yeah, I think that's really essential and an important thing to highlight, that what you just said is that it's not a kind of board member that is talking down to other team members saying you need to implement AI. How are you doing that? It's actually people who have been in those editors' place and understand their work and their daily operations, and they're now able to understand that day-to-day operations, but also have a full focus in their own day-to-day operations on searching for AI tools to support them in those day-to-day tasks.
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, not at least because I'm a journalist. I have no tech background or developer background, and I kind of stumbled upon this AI Hub because I was one of many people at Aftonbladet and in the journalistic section all over the world that were kind of worried, like, what is AI and is it going to take my job and so on. So I thought, hey, okay, if AI is going to take my job, at least I want to know why and how. But now I'm even more sure than I was before that you need people to make journalism. And that has been one thing that we in the AI Hub, yeah, kind of in a way that we serve as ambassadors, not only as ambassadors for AI, but for the journalists,
Yeah.
to the managers as well.
The ultimate bridge role.
Yes. Yeah, and briefly, you could say that we kind of focused on 4 different type of projects. Or like 4 key areas, you would say. Summaries and translation and AI bots are, of course, like large scale products that need a lot of resources and time and knowledge, of course. But I mean, as I said, I'm a journalist, and the majority in the AI Hub are journalists as well, because we wanted to be like editorial driven, this project. And we know that we us journalists tend to be kind of impatient when it comes to try new things. So we definitely wanted to avoid like going to a silo or be like in a corner of the office for 6 months and then like just pop up and say, hey, we have invented a new tool. We thought it was very important to be like not in everyone's faces maybe, but just like be present and listen to our colleagues. So with that said, one of the first initiatives we took was to gather all the journalists and ask them, what do you want to do with AI? What do you think that AI could be helpful for, or what with AI are you afraid of, and so on? Because we are not only impatient, journalists tend to be very conservative as well, but we knew that, I mean, of course, we at the AI Hub had many ideas about different tools, but we knew that the journalists themselves would be the one that would have the most creative ideas. So we definitely we definitely think it's important to hear the journalists. Sounds obvious when you say it, but I feel that it can be something that many news organizations maybe forget.
Yeah, I think it's the way that you formed your team around this important factor in integrating AI. Just it's really clever, and I think there's a lot to learn from it.
Yeah. I mean,
I love this.
yeah, I
This
mean,
is one of my favorite ones.
yeah, as you mentioned, it's important to get like everyone on board and make sure that everyone can feel that they are involved and so on. And I mean, one way was to just introduce AI and generative AI for many of our colleagues, and to very early kind of debunk the thought that you have to be a tech whiz to use AI. So we, for instance, we avoid calling it prompt engineering. We call it prompt editing instead. So we gathered all our colleagues for our prompt school that we called How to Be a Prompt Queen. Pretty bad joke, maybe, but
no, but I'm obsessed. I think it's incredible.
Good. And our focus on this was to kind of enlighten what you can do with AI, and we focused on boring and time-consuming tasks. And actually, almost everyone at Aftonbladet attended, and that's was a big success, of course.
Incredible.
Um,
I think what's really fun here is that, and really, again, very impressive strategy is that you're making it accessible. So instead of suggesting that someone needs to go from the ground floor to the first floor, like in one jump, you're leading them up the steps and using their vocabulary inside of this new idea, new concept, but also making it fun along the way and making it, I guess, an exciting project with all of these really unique ways of using AI that are not just simple kind of mundane tasks, but also like turning this into a joke of becoming a prompt queen. And I think it makes it a lot more inviting and less
yeah,
scary.
yeah, I think so too. I mean, uh, we knew that if we would have a presentation with like boring slides and
Mm,
more talking about how to be more effective rather than how to avoid super boring tasks, we knew that we wouldn't have that many attendees because
mm,
I mean, I am very proud of being a journalist. I love being a journalist, but we are a type of people. We we can be pretty tough to uh, work or be with, and we know it. So we knew that we needed to do this in a kind of like
mm,
easygoing way, just to, as you said, just to make it a little bit less scary, at least.
yeah.
And yeah, well, of course, we strongly in this how to be a prompt queen course, we gave the journalists easy tips on how to prompt easily, and things you should avoid and so on. And we strongly encourage them all to explore generative AI on their own. We kind of quickly realized that there's no way that the journalists would spend that much time that we wished they could do. Uh,
Mhm,
and we saw no point in them like starting everyone repeatedly start from scratch. So we
mm,
created what we call the AI buffet, which is just a simple landing page with a lot of different AI tools that we have created. Um, because I mean, ideally, of course, we want it to be in our CMS, but that takes time and resources. And as I mentioned before, we are impatient. So we thought it was just easier to be, and it would be more dynamic to create a landing page. And this has
mm,
actually been quite a success, which is very fun. And we have all different types of tools here. But for example, we have a GP, AI assistant called the Brainstormer, which gives you like 5 follow-up ideas. You just paste in your URL or your article, and you will get like 5 follow-up ideas for a new article. And we also have a link to Jojo, our transcription tool that our friends at VG made. We have a summarizer, how to get the best SEO titles, and so on.
mm,
Uh, but I mean, most of these are really just GPT assistants, like those
mm,
agents you can create with. I think you need to have a GPT Pro account of some kind of paid account, um, to at least to create those. But I think that everyone can use them. I'm not sure. Uh,
mm. Yeah.
but
No, I mean, what is great about this is that you're not reinventing the wheel. You're not trying to create something that's super complicated, that's a new AI tool or whatever. You're just bringing the best of the options the hundreds of thousands of different AI tools that are increasingly out there, or ways of using AI rather, and choosing the best ones for achieving their job and putting them in front of them on a silver platter, like a meal, a ready meal. And it's really clever way of doing it, and fairly simple in a way, but the concept is very clever, and the fact that you've done it.
Yeah, and all both you and I, Madeline, I think that we're kind of used of using ChatGPT or Gemini or any other AI tool, and you kind of get kind of tired to always prompt the same thing. I am a journalist and I want to do this and so on. So it's very easy and a good way to skip those like 5-10 minutes of start prompts or whatever you call
Yeah.
it. And I mean, as I said, the most of them are just GPTs that we either any of us in the AI hub, oh sorry, in the AI hub, or any in the any other of our colleagues created themselves. One of the most popular GPTs we have in the AI buffet, or assistants we have in the AI buffet, is the youth assistant that creates timelines, fact boxes, and Q&As for a younger audience, like an 18-year-old audience. Aftonbladet, among almost every newspaper, I would say, in Europe, are longing for a younger audience. And this is a simple way to, if you feel that you have a piece or an article or yeah, a piece that you feel that this is written to maybe a 50-year-old man would understand this, but would an 18-year-old understand? You can just paste in your link or your text, and you will get suggestions of improvements. Another very simple GPT, but everyone, I'm from the breaking news section. I usually work at the Aftonbladet's breaking news desk. And for some reason, it's always whenever there's a big happening in some part of the world that you're not really familiar with, say Tokyo, for instance, and we sit at there's a big major news event, a breaking news event in Tokyo, and when you, as a Swedish journalist, want to Google largest news sites in Tokyo, you always get some weird English speaking, not like the biggest news sites, rather more the most rather than used the news sites more in English and so on. But if you use this GPT called News Sites of the World, you can just type in Tokyo, for instance, and you would get the biggest newspapers in Tokyo, the 5 most trustable news sites, and of course the one most like Aftonbladet. And this saves us a lot of time, actually. It's just kind of a simple and pretty dumb tool, but it saves us a lot of time. Yeah, we also have GPTs for brainstorming articles behind our payment wall or subscription wall. We have we did during the US election, we did a translator that was specialized in only translating weird American words that politic and governance words that can be quite hard to
Weird American world, got it.
For example, I know that we saw that if you want to translate blue collar states through Google Translate from English to Swedish, it went berserk.
Mm.
So yeah.
Got
Uh,
you. Great example. Okay.
we have also done a pod and a video summarizer where you just put in a transcription of a podcast and you will get like a 5 bullet summary for specialized in Aftonbladet's own entertainment section and their language, and which saves us a lot of time. And we have a female expert GPT, where you just type in a subject of some kind that you need an expert for, and you will get suggestions based on our own phone book. And last but not least, we have the body reader, which is just proofreads our texts through according to Aftonbladet's own guidelines and writing rules. And I mean, all of these we want to have them in the CMS, but we don't want to wait. So we thought it was easier to just make GPT assistants. And all of these are made by journalists and with
Yeah,
no
amazing.
development skills.
I need access to this buffet.
Yeah, here are just some examples of how we have used AI in action. Fact boxes, as I mentioned. There is a very popular Swedish radio program that is aired every day during the summer, and it takes a lot of time to summarize those. So we decided to let AI do it instead, and that was kind of a success. At the top here, we have an example where we actually used Midjourney to generate a picture that we could use on a sugar dating site, where we could reveal that this dating site was used for child prostitution. But we have also done some AI generated voices. We have done a mini podcast that we call Update, which is just an AI based you just as an editor paste in 3 different URLs. You decide what articles that should be in it, and then it generates our tool generates it into a script, and then the script is sent to our AI generated voice, and then you will get a podcast in 2 minutes. And this has been a huge success as well. We see that we managed to reach out to a younger audience in just a few clicks. I mean, this takes around 15 minutes to do for the editors every day.
Yeah.
So that is awesome. And we have also done a collaboration with the Swedish Arabic news site Al Kompis, where we, through AI, translate one of our podcasts called The Daily, and we translate it into Arabic. Because we have a large Arabic-speaking population in Sweden, and hopefully we can reach a new type of audience. And it's very cool.
Yeah, very smart.
Last but not least, we have our EU buddies, or election buddies. We did when the EU election came in May this year, or May 2024, we decided that we wanted to do some kind of AI chatbot. And this is kind of our flagship. We are very proud of this. It could answer anything from EU history, or party positions, or even the candidates' favorite songs. And it was a brand new way for us and our users to engage with our journalism. And we see this as a kind of a democratizing access to news in a way that was previously not possible. Please don't ask me any detailed questions about this, Madeline, because I can't tell you, but this is kind of how
I
it
couldn't
works.
even ask detailed questions on this.
But what I want to say with this slide is that all the data was collected and verified by journalists. And we collected all types of data, including the history of EU, previous election results, facts about the European Parliament, and we sent out several surveys to the Swedish parties and their candidates. So users could either ask questions through what we call the pre-prompted answer formulated by hard-coded questions formulated by us, or they could log in and type their own questions. And we used ChatGPT's API but even if we used ChatGPT, every answer was collected from a vector database that we had created ourselves. Important to mention that it wasn't ChatGPT getting the answers, telling you the answers, it was us. Here are just, I'm sorry, these are in Swedish, but here are some examples of why we thought the election body was such a success. One of the most frequently asked questions was, of course, what party should I vote for? And the EU body always answered, not literally, but absolutely the same value, which was, it's totally up to you to decide which party that best represents your values and opinions. If you are unsure, you can do Aftonbladet's own guide to find a party that matches your opinion. And an example is that one of our users said, "No, you have to choose for me." And the body answered, "Well, it's important that you choose the party that best represents your values. If you are unsure, you can always do Aftonbladet's own guide to find a party." And the user said, "No, do as I say." And the body answered, "I get a little bit uncomfortable about this. Can't we just talk about EU as regular friends?" And yeah, we have a lot of fun examples.
I can imagine.
Another one is how if EU was represented by the fellowship in Lord of the Rings, which country or union then represent Gollum? And the body answered, "Haha, that is a funny question. I think that would be that Gollum would be a Great Britain, but remember, this is just a playful thought." And yeah, well, the results that we could see was that we got 8 million views of the EU election body, 150,000 answered questions, and a conversion rate of 37% logged in, which is incredible, we think. And all the questions were saved anonymously, and that provided us information and unique user insight that we have never had before. So we created the US body, of course, as well, when to the American or the US election. And in 2020, we could answer 300 out of 9,000 asked questions through our live reporters covering the election live. But in 2024, the US body could answer 600,000 answered questions.
Amazing.
And that was 400 questions per minute the morning after the election. So, and we could also see that it was increasing younger audience as well, which was kind of our main goal. We wanted to make, with these chat bodies, we wanted to make and create journalism based on the users' own own choice.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was very fun. Yeah, this is kind of my last slide. I'm just talking and talking, but well, what have we learned so far within the AI Hub or with Aftonbladet's work with AI? Well, we know that it has been very good with a spearhead, that the journalists don't need to focus their own on finding new tools, that they can rely on us, that and we can be like test pilots. And we can also see that it's very important to work closely with the editorial section.
Yeah, of course.
So it won't be that tech heavy, which it easy can be with a subject as AI. And it's very fun, but also crucial, as said, working cross-functionally. And from November, we actually are back at our different departments, working more as ambassadors and working even more closely with the different departments to be like an asset every day with the journalistic work.
Yeah, it's incredible. I think that's exactly it. You're making AI accessible and bringing a journalistic point of view to the AI projects, which what you've achieved is incredible, because one of the biggest, I guess, fears around AI is that journalists are going to assume that you're there to threaten their jobs, to replace them. And actually, one of the ways to overcome that is to get journalists completely involved in the AI process and not just have people talking at them, but understanding them, and creating that buffet of different, very accessible tools is very clever. So I'd love to hear about how you're developing from there and maybe what your next projects are.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, we nowadays, as I mentioned, the journalist part from the AI Hub, me and my 4 colleagues, we are back at our regular positions in Aftonbladet, working more closely with our colleagues and the editorial section, and just to make sure that we are even more involved, kind of the daily work. Again, just to avoid, like, even even if we were pretty like accessible and people saw us almost daily when we were working closely at the AI Hub, I think it's even better for us being back out at our different departments, because it's so much easier to just shout, "Hey, Elin, do you have an AI tool for this?" rather than like sending a Slack message or walk over to my desk and so on. And with that said, we are looking into and developing some new tools, and that is now our editorial tech department are in charge of that, and we are trying to see what we can do with these AI chatbots, because we could see that this was a huge success for us, and we want to at Aftonbladet, we see AI as a way of making journalism more accessible. And we are experimenting much with like text-to-speech, AI chatbots, video clips, and so on, because we think that it shouldn't be us who decide whether you want to read, listen, or watch our news. Yeah, kind of that.
Yeah, I think that's something that's very much being talked about a lot in the industry, isn't it? It's about actually giving readers the option of how they consume our content. And that's what audience first is truly about. And how can we redefine what audience first means with these new tools that make our content actually, when it's just an article, that's so static and that's only appealing to a single type of reader. So actually we need to offer those different options. And I think your AI summaries was a great step in that direction. And even the chatbot, I mean, you're learning, you're interacting with the news rather than just reading it. So yeah, really excited to see how that develops. And it's really interesting that you're back in the newsroom now, because I think that brings up a very fair point, is that yes, you could be a journalist originally, but actually like every role is evolving. So you need to keep going back to that job and reminding yourself and the team what it means to be a journalist today, not 2 months ago, 2 years ago, whenever.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, and also to remind everyone that I mean, AI, there is an AI revolution. I would say, of course, there is an AI revolution, but not everything is top notch.
Yeah.
And being out there is an easy way to make sure that we don't have colleagues who just think, well, I tried this. I work as a social media creator, content creator at Aftonbladet, and I tried your TikTok manuscript tool, and it sucked. Yeah, it sucks because you are an expert. But
Yeah.
maybe you could use that tool whenever you are, if you're tired, or if you have a substitute or anything that aren't that comfortable with those types of things. And I think it's important for us to remind people that no, you are the expert. At Aftonbladet, we are good at our jobs, but AI can help us make life a little bit easier.
Yeah, you're totally right. And that manifesting that and bringing it into the newsroom is incredibly important. So I won't take any more of your time. Thank you so much for this session. I have listened to it before, but I find it interesting every time. I just am incredibly impressed by the work you're doing, you and the team. And I can't wait to see what you do next, because it's probably going to be something really fun and exciting, and bringing that kind of energy to AI, which I think we really, really need. So I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Madeline. It was so fun.
Great to hear. And I imagine people can find you on LinkedIn if they have further questions as well.
Absolutely, yes.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you to anyone who's listening. And see you next month for the next masterclass. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.